lived in Russia. If you want a war with Russia, if you don't want a war with Russia, I mean, what does NATO do? Attack Russia now? What is the answer? Do I show I'm patriotic? And I'll agree with the neocons that have been attacking me because they're so powerful. They're actually not. They're a joke. And I'll just agree with them. Vladimir Putin and Russia needs to be nuked. Every Russian needs to die. We need to overthrow Ukraine, kick every Russian, even though they're half the country, out, and take all the property, give it to George Soros and Joe Biden's son, who's been handed the oil company and the natural gas company worth billions publicly. It's just been given to him. I mean, I think we should invade Canada and give it to Barack Obama's daughters. I think we should invade France and just give it to Joe Biden's wife. I think we should invade, I mean, we've already, give it to George Soros. I think we should attack China, nuke China, and then give it to George Soros. I mean, that's the same thing here. Of course, they've opened the border and are giving Latin America to the United States, so they'll vote. They're conquering the U.S. right now. I mean, they are conquering. And why should they stop? No one stands up to them. Nobody speaks out. So I agree with the neocons out there that we should attack every sovereign country out there and hand over the countries to different administration officials. And I mean, I'm glad that guy mentioned earlier, Joe Biden defended about a month ago that his son was put on the board and given partial ownership of the biggest gas company in the nation that they're claiming now controls the Russian gas corridors. That's a nice slice of over $100 billion a year in natural gas that Russia sells alone to areas of Western Europe. I think that's reasonable. You're a slick son of Joe Biden, you get everything. Why not my house? Why not my children? I mean, they announce on MSNBC that our kids belong to the state. I didn't build my operation. I didn't build anything. I didn't put my shoes on this morning. I didn't comb my hair. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't make my children breakfast. I didn't drive into work. I didn't wipe my butt. I didn't brush my teeth. Obama did it. In fact, Joe Biden, are they going to announce that literally they own you? Well, they do own you. They want our soul. They want it all until we say no. Hope in Canada, then Darius in Romania. Hope in Canada, you're Ukrainian, you say. Go ahead.
And I'd like you to know that 1.2 Canadians right here in Canada of Ukrainian descent, and we are all against Russian connections. The history is too bad or too hard to think about. In 1922, over 1 million.
No, I understand that Russians and Ukrainians have been killing each other for 500, 600 years, and then were Muslims running around in there as well. I mean, I get the history. But should we nuke Russia then?
I said not to nuke Russia. But in 1933, when 10 million Ukrainians were starved, Stalin brought in millions of Russians to that country. And this is why today we have the Russians in there, the descendants of Russia, who want to go. If they want to be in Russia, let them go.
Sure. But let me ask you a question, and I want to keep you on the line. This is important. Do you think Hitler was a liberator of Ukraine?
Pardon?
What do you think of Hitler's role in Ukraine?
Well, Ukraine was between Russia and Hitler. I'm going to send you a DVD about it, between Russia and Hitler.
Well, yes, ma'am. I mean, I'm sure you know better than I, but I do know the history of it. I understand that.
You don't understand it.
No, I understand that Western Ukrainians have real beefs with the Russians, and I've talked about Stalin's starving to death of 10 million, some estimates are that high, Ukrainians. But I'm saying today is 2014. We can't have George Soros, the Nazi collaborator, overthrowing Ukraine and trying to start World War III.
I agree with you there. But you see, the Ukrainians are victims of both the Americans, the Russians, the Europeans, and everything else.
I agree. Exactly. And who destabilized it and is trying to exploit Ukraine right now? The EU and NATO. I'm going to come back and give you the floor, ma'am, because you're a nice lady. You sound reasonable. You sound like you're trying to be fair. I want to give you the floor, Hope. So I hope you'll stay with us, pun intended. We're going to come right back to you after the break. Okay, Hope?
Okay.
Okay, good. And I'll let you talk for 2 or 3 minutes. Make your point. I'll try to shut up. And then we'll talk to Darius and others. 800-259 9231 is the toll-free number, 800-259-9231. Fritz Springmeier, part 2 of our Secrets of the Illuminati interview coming up.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. Silverlungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
In today's unstable environment, self-protection is critical. Civil unrest, riots, looting, it's happening now right here in the United States, and your rights are at risk. If passed, H.R. 5344 would ban Level 3 and above body armor. Cady Armor is standing up for you. We offer the most affordable Level 3 body armor on the market. Cady Level 3 armor withstands pistol and rifle hits up to 7.62 NATO. Get yours at CadyArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Cady Armor. Come and take it.
A 30-day GMO-free emergency food supply for only $99 at 30dayfoodsupply.com. You can purchase Oregon Trail Foods' 1-month supply of high-quality, nutritious, and healthy emergency meals for less than $100. These vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar pouches. They're completely free of any artificial flavors and colorings, have a 20-year shelf life, and take up to 70% less space than number 10 cans. They even offer a gluten-free option. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then passing the savings to you. Purchase a 30-day, 90-serving emergency food supply for only $99 this month, and $10 ships your entire order. Visit the website at 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where they make preparedness affordable. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Healthy elimination is essential to high energy, a cheerful mood, and prevention of disease. Some of the founders of our modern holistic health thinking state that disease begins in a toxic colon. A toxic intestinal tract is the foundation for virtually all degenerative disease, and a clean and well-moving intestinal tract is the foundation of health.
I just want to say that you folks have an amazing product. I've taken whey protein products for years, and I've never noticed the results I have with your product. I've suffered with bouts of constipation most of my life. Within a few days of taking One World Whey, I noticed a dramatic change. Also, in the past few years, I've experienced symptoms associated with diabetes. I feel horrible when I've had too much sugar, and I've been getting the foot pain as well. But I've noticed in the past week or so, I'm not feeling bad anymore, and the foot pain is gone. I'm just finishing up a 5-pound tub I ordered and just got off the phone ordering more. I love your product. Thank you.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
Globalists have hijacked our country. They're funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda to attack Christians everywhere. They're wanting to bomb the Syrian government that they've been bombing for a long time. They want to intensify that in the name of stopping Al-Qaeda. And now George Soros and others have overthrown Ukraine, and they're trying to take Russian-held areas that have key military bases and gas pipelines. They've already taken part of it and given it to Joe Biden's son, who now owns it. And they're claiming that Russia has intensified an invasion into the area. And I'm sure part of that's probably true, but the way they're announcing it's an escalation, there's NATO forces in there. And a lady named Hope from Canada was saying that 1.2 million Canadians are actually Ukrainians. And she was talking about how horrible the Russians were coming in and usurping areas of their country, which I know Stalin did do. He also killed a bunch of Russians. It was terrible. But there were Russians in Ukraine before that. It's been part of Russia before. So it's a disputed territory. And that's what the globalists exacerbate. I'm against the whole thing. I don't like the escalation of tensions. It'll hurt markets. It'll hurt stock markets. It can lead to nuclear war. Top CIA analyst Ray McGovern said last time he was on. In fact, we ought to grab the end of that interview. It's the last minute of that interview where he talks about that. CIA analyst warns of nuclear war with Russia. That's a very important interview. We should play a clip of that coming up. But Hope, you've got the floor. As a Ukrainian, give us your take on this.
Well, we'll say that I only learned about the globalist or the American or Soros a couple months ago. We had never heard in Canada about him, so we didn't know anything about that. But the problem here is, sir, that why would Ukrainians, after being starved, 10 million starved in 33, and when those people were starved, Stalin brought in Russians, and that's why there's so many Russians up there. And under Russia, there was no Ukrainian language. The language spoken was Russian, and only Ukrainian was spoken in the house. So now people are saying, well, those poor Russian-speaking Russians, well, that was the language of the day. So how could they blame? They didn't know Ukrainian because they controlled it. After so many years of control, we have 1.2 million Canadians in Canada. And would you think how many Ukrainians left their country to create so much Ukrainians in Canada? Now, the Maidan the Canadians supported the Maidan. I sent money there. There were a lot of Ukrainian Canadians demonstrating on the Maidan. There were even there were pictures on TV that they took. There were Jewish rabbis demonstrating on the Maidan. So how can you tell that they were all Nazis? The Nazi portion I didn't like because Ukraine in the Second World War was between Hitler and Stalin. And that's how my aunt came to Canada when the Germans captured her, and she worked in German camps and then finally came to Canada. So how can you blame a poor people who were subjugated by Russia and by Hitler and saying that they're Nazis now? All the Ukrainians are not Nazis. That's a big, big lie. And people who are throwing those words around should study the history or see how things ran. Now, I got a couple DVDs that I'm going to send you, and you could look at them. They're English, about the famine in 33, and also the other one about the stolen land.
No, I understand that some of the Western Ukrainians were wronged, just like I know that the Turks killed people in their country and other things, and the Armenian genocide. There's been a lot of genocides. I'm not weighing in tribal warfare here, like Palestinian versus Israeli or any of this. I'm saying the current war is the cybertronic, technotronic, scientific dictatorship that is soft-killing all of humanity, dumbing everyone down, destroying national sovereignty, attacking the very basis of what it is to be a human. And while they've all got us tribally upset with old beefs, and while they're exacerbating those old wounds, they are bringing us into a planetary world government and are using an old conflict to destabilize that entire region and have the EU come in and suck Ukraine dry. So Hitler had his way, Stalin had his way with your country. Now the EU is going to have its way with you. But I mean, do you see any validity to what I just said?
You are talking the right thing, but you are not saying that when Yanukovych left Ukraine, his parliament
No, I mean, I get all that. Just the globalists are...
We're on the march.